guys, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna get started now with the recipe. I think I'll just jump right into it. I just hope that everybody out there is having a great evening and trying to stay dry. Just before we start, I can't zoom very well with this camera, so I wanted to show you the ingredients. This is my cheese. This is my beaten egg, 1 whole egg. This is my parsley. This is 1 riced potato. If you can see the texture, that's how it should look. And it should not look like this soupiness. If you can see, it's very wet and pasty. That's not what it should be like, and that will be what the first drops of potatoes or first grains of potatoes that come out with the ricer, which I have right here in my hand. You need to strain it until it starts coming out to this texture. And I have to admit, I didn't include this step the last time that I tried to do the potato patties a couple of months ago. So let's hope that tonight I turn out a winner. I don't know if I will, but let's see. So I thought I would get started with just mixing the potato. And it says here, mash them and add the egg, which is going to go in first, and then the cheese and parsley, and pepper and salt. I forgot to show you the pepper and salt. So let's go. The breadcrumbs, by the way, I have a mixture here of cornbread and multigrain. And what I did was I broiled the crusts, and because they were just not, they were too fresh, and when I tried to grate them, they came out like dough. So what I did was I broiled them for a couple of minutes, and then I ground them in my little pepper grinder, and that worked much better than the one that I did the other day. So the key to it is to first broil the breadcrumbs. If you guys don't like the breadcrumbs that they sell in the stores like me, that's the best way to go about it. You can use any bread you want and it turns out great. Okay, now for a little pepper. I'm going to mix it in and then put a little more. Now for the salt. Now for the egg, I'm going to put the whole egg in. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm putting some back. Mistake number one. So I put in about a half an egg. Next, cheese. I'm going to grate it, blend it, and we'll see what the texture is like. That's what it's looking like so far. So I think one of the key secrets that my mother left out, well, first of all, she totally left out the ricer. So I knew there was something missing when I had that complete fail last time I made them. And so she left out the ricer. And she didn't say to add the egg slowly, because if you add too much, which I think maybe this is what happened now, I added too much, they're going to melt before they get into the pan. So let's hope I didn't ruin them yet. These particular things, potato patties, people raved and raved and raved. They could never get enough of them. My mother, if we were invited to barbecues or parties, whatever have you, she would have to be cooking for 3 days in order to make enough that people could have thirds and fourths. This was one thing that everybody just can't get over, how well she made them. And the flavor, not only how they turned out, because everybody else tried to make them, they didn't turn out, including the same thing happened with me. I couldn't do it. The yelling that my mother did with me when I tried to make them with her, oh, you're lucky you weren't there. Parsley. So you can see that it's been mixed in there. And actually the texture is pretty promising. I'm surprised. I didn't ruin it with too much egg. Maybe I could put a little drop more. That's all. I don't want to ruin them. Okay, I think we have enough cheese in there. Throw my eggshells away. Now comes the fun part. Rolling them up and dropping them into the breadcrumbs. Let's see how that works out. You can actually make them any size or shape you want, but I'm going to roll with what I know. So, there you go. That looks about right to me. It's oblong, if you can see the shape. And now, into the breadcrumb. There you go. I'm going to roll them. And that's what it looks like. One more. You can always use a little more egg if it gets too flaky and dry, you know what I mean? It's not dry, but I'm just demonstrating. You can always put some more egg on your fingers and roll it around like that. I don't like them too mucky because then they kind of fall apart, so we'll leave it like this. I'm liking how my breadcrumbs stick. Patty number 4, if you can see it, that's a nice shape, if I do say so myself. All right, I have enough for 2 more. And you know guys, I've been thinking of my proteins and how I've been adding them to my meals, and you know, I feel good. I haven't had any pain, any aches, any discomfort at all. And the thing is I'm not used to eating protein, and so it's making me feel kind of sluggish, and I don't know, I don't feel myself body-wise. I just don't understand what's wrong. I usually feel very light when I go out walking, but lately, I guess because of the antibiotics and, you know, the diet change, it's a lot for me at my age, you know. So I've been thinking, you know, of letting go the protein because it just doesn't do it for me. I mean, I like the way it tastes, but I'm not used to eating protein. It's very hard for me to get used to going, you know, back into the routine of having meat once a day or once every other day. It's just not the way I roll. I don't do things like that. I mean, I've been a vegetarian for so many years, so that was a big major change for me. And I don't think that I can handle that kind of a change. So we'll have to see what happens with my diet. Anyway, I have made 6 patties. And truthfully, I have never baked. My mother never baked these. I'm putting this in a pan so I can keep them from crumbling and falling apart. But she always fried them. I don't like frying my foods, but for this purpose of this tutorial, I am going to fry these 6 patties. And what I have to do first is wash my hands. move this stuff out of the way. Like the counter. And heat my pan up with a little bit of oil. I don't know how much oil you're comfortable with, but I think I'll start out with just enough to cover the pan. And I'm not sure if Teflon will work. We'll have to see. So what I'm going to do is drop a little tiny bit of egg. That way it will tell me, that drop will tell me when the oil is hot enough. You see? When the oil is hot enough and that gets cooked, that means I can drop these in. So let me go wet my finger. So, you guys, there's a great big fire truck right out there on the road, and I guess something happened, but I'm hopefully not going to be interrupted in any way. I hope I don't suffer any digital failures here, so it seems to be okay. Everything out there looks peaceful, but the weather is really not good. Unfortunately, I couldn't go for any walk today, so that's another thing. The weather has been very iffy, and I'm used to being right on time for my walk every day. And if it's weather like this, mind you, I used to go and I'd get completely soaked, but with the way that I've been feeling lately, I figure I better not take any more chances with my health. So, oh guys, my cat just walked in, and I hope she doesn't jump up and knock over the camera. There she is. Oh my God. I wish I could show you what she was doing. The oil is almost hot enough. I thought it would take longer than that, but it hasn't, so I'm going to put one in. It's cooked, so in they go. And I'll check back with you in a couple of minutes. Take care. The key is to not roll them around too much when they're frying because they're going to lose their shape. These ones, fortunately, I used red potatoes. They remained firm enough that I could really work with it well. I don't know what happened. What did I do wrong the last time? I think I used white potatoes for sure, and I did not drain the water out. I did not rice the potatoes, and that caused the recipe to fail. So they're getting golden. Just another few minutes. It just says here, fry in very hot oil until golden brown. Now, over the years, we've had so many different stoves, so naturally, the times were not always the same. So I have no idea how long they should stay in here. Oh, look at that. You see how one is more golden? Be right back. Guys, they are getting golden brown, but the other side is not completely done. And so that's why I'm doing this in real time, because I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take for these to be done. But you have to be so careful to do all sides, keep rolling them, but to not poke it, or else they'll just kind of melt. So bear with me. One is already ruined. I'm turning the heat a little lower. So about the ricer, if anybody can, leave in the comment section where we can get a hold of a ricer, that would be great, because I tried to look for one online and I didn't have much luck. So, I mean, obviously the one that I have here, it must be from the 50s. So, it's pretty old. I have no idea where it came from. But it does do the job. It does drain the potatoes perfectly. And you could also use something like that for any vegetable, like zucchini, cauliflower, and do the same thing. So that would be a great variation. Of course, my father was very fussy and didn't like all those vegetables, but he loved potatoes, so my mother stuck with this. And I think they're done. Yep, they're done. This one isn't done. Okay, so these, see, I'm ruining them. When I try to roll it over, they flake and fall apart. You see, it's happening. But for the most part, they're intact. So I think it's a success. It's like handling glass. Now the sides are cooking. And if you don't do it this way, they don't turn out. Some of them, parts of it remain raw and other parts are very crispy. So this is the kind of knack that my mother had for these things, and I still don't get it. I'm just, you know, playing it by ear. I'm not sure I know exactly what I'm doing with this, but if I can roll them without them falling apart, it's a success. Okay guys, the first one is coming out. Ah, that's looking pretty beautiful. If you can see, all that oil that I put in was